Welcome, everyone, to That Kind of Nerds podcast, a weekly show where we break down what's going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Mellon, joined, of course, by Joshua Burns and Brian Thornton.
We are a couple hitchhikers that you picked up on the road.
All right. Sure. That sounds about right. Before we dive too far into things, I do want to let people know that this episode is brought to you by the wonderful people over at Loot Crate. You got it. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription service for geeks and nerds. Every month, subscribers get a mystery box full of collectibles, figurines, apparel, and memorabilia. Each box contains at least $45 worth of value, and many of the items are exclusively created for Loot Crate. Each crate has a theme centered around major franchises, theatrical releases, and events. You have until the 19th of every month to get your box, and then after the 19th, that box is gone forever. So save a few bucks and support the show by going to thatkindofnerd.com/loot. LOOT. That's thatkindofnerd.com/loot. And there's a code that you can use at checkout to A, support the show, but also save a few bucks. Again, thatkindofnerd.com/loot. So the internet is still floating around and the world is still talking about Pokemon Go. So we're going to continue the conversation that we had last week. Last week we were very light with just, hey, the servers are kind of glitchy. And now the world's had some more time with it and, some stuff has come out. So I definitely want to take the opportunity to speak about that and to kind of go over some things that we've noticed. The first thing that I want to bring out is that some genius built a Pokedex battery phone case. And I believe Nintendo should do this as well. Did you guys get a chance to check this out?
Yes, I did see it.
It's glorious.
Yes. Well, it's not just that as a Pokédex case, it's that it charges your phone. That's the best part about it. It's a charger that looks like a Pokédex.
Is a Pokédex a real thing?
No, a Pokédex is a thing from the anime and TV show and the game itself.
It's not just a thing in my phone?
It's not just a thing in your phone. It's named that because of something that was on the game.
So, look, we have had an additional week of gameplay, and it is a lot of fun. However, it's just so goddamn buggy that it's driving me banana sandwich. Like I'm losing Pokemon because of I'll catch a tough one, and then when the thing wobbles around and then it stops wobbling and the light goes off and then it gets gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, yuck! I'm good, right? So it'll do the wobbly, and then right in the middle of the wobbly, it'll freeze, and that'll be it. And I've lost a Charmander. A Charmander.
I lost a Ghastly to that.
A Ghastly is stupid. I have 10 Ghastlies. Have you seen a Charmander?
No.
Yes.
No. Brian has. I had a Charmander. I lost a Charmander. You know what Charmander becomes, CJ?
Yes, I know what Charmander becomes.
Well, there you go. I lost one.
It becomes Chameleon.
Chameleon.
Oh, wow. Wow. No.
Anyway, I have had that bug happen to me a couple times, but I did just read an article that says that obviously, if the phone glitches out, restart the app. But at that point, it's pretty much decided whether you're catching it or if it's going to pop out and run away. So if you don't get the Charmander, odds are you wouldn't have, even if it didn't.
Right,
glitch.
but if the thing pops out, I still have enough time. Dude, if that thing wobbles and they pop out, I'm already in my items grabbing a raspberry. So I'm already there.
Yeah, but I don't know if you've had any Pokemon run away on you yet, but I've had them run away immediately out of the.
Very rarely do they peace out as soon as they jump out of the.
Yeah, it's happened to me a little bit.
And the thing is that as soon as I saw a Charmander, I grabbed a Great Pokeball. So even if he was going to get out of that thing, I was still going to back up with I was going to get this goddamn thing.
Right. Yeah. Now, I will say, in the defense of the game, that is happening less and less, but the moments when it happens are usually the moments where you don't want it to happen. You don't care if it's a Weedle or a Pidgey or a Rattata.
The most frustrating thing that happened to me this week is that.
That tells me you had a great week.
I had a solid week. A lot of long days, a lot of traveling, but this was very cool. And there for Tampa being surrounded by water, there was not that many water things.
Oh, that's a shame.
No, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I was not happy because we were like right there, the west side of Florida. There, it's Gulf. There should be water, right? There weren't. It made me very angry.
Sorry. I'm sorry it angered you. The good news is there's plenty of time to catch them all.
I'll tell you what. I do want to share a story. My buddy, my coworker and good friend Andrew, who lives in New Hampshire, not so much like a Pokemon guy, but loves getting out and like would normally be on a treadmill. Doesn't walk around too much because there's really no stimulation out on like hiking trails. So he started playing this, like walking around with his girl and her dog and playing Pokemon Go. And dude said, he walked like 10 miles over 2 days, but what he was coming out of some place. I don't remember where he told me he was. And what he saw was like this, maybe a 18, 19-year-old guy and what appeared to be his girlfriend with him. And then like 15 steps behind them, a little, a nerdy kid, maybe the same age, right? Maybe 18, 19, 20 years old. But, what you would stereotype as a quote unquote nerd, right? Sort of just awkward looking and gangly and walking around very whatever.
I wasn't walking around any time then.
So my boy Andrew is just sort of watching, and the girl and the guy, they're together and they're talking about, oh, there's a Pokestop just up here, and let's go check this out. And from 15 steps behind, this kid says, hey, are you guys going to catch Pokemon? And the girl turns around and goes, absolutely, you should come with us. And the three of them, not knowing each other at all, joined up and sort of ran off. And my boy Andrew is like, this is made his day, saw the look on the kid's face, saw that it made his day. Like everything that I'm seeing about this game, and everybody that's all sourpuss and butthurt on the internet about, oh, people playing Pokemon. Look, everyone has been playing stupid-ass Candy Crush and other stupid-ass games forever.
Right, exactly.
Right? And sitting in front of you on the sofa or at dinner and not looking up from their phone. This has people interacting socially, people who don't know each other. Dude, I'm at my barbershop. I took over that gym, and these kids, I see them walking by and they're like, somebody took our gym, and they're just standing outside my barbershop trying to get it back. And they couldn't while I was there.
Right.
Two more Team Valor cats like hopped on. And these, eventually they got it back. Right. But that's the cool thing is people are just out and about and hanging out, and people on phones and in town squares and in parks, and it's fun. And everybody should stop being so sourpuss about it.
So that brings me to something that I came across yesterday, and actually it was today, the day of this recording on the 15th, and it bothered me. It rubbed me the wrong way, and I figured what a better forum to do it than our show. And I reached out to a few listeners as well and asked for their input. But Robin Vinter, who writes for inews.co.uk, wrote a article that's called "Pokemon Go is not an invitation to talk to me on the street." And she initially starts off with, she's playing Pokemon Go at a public place. A guy approaches her and says, quote, "Hey, you're on Pokemon Go, right?" And she's like, "Yes." And she nods, and she's embarrassed because this 27-year-old woman's getting approached by this guy. And he's like, "Oh, is there an Eevee here?" And he makes small talk with her, and then eventually says, "Hey, can I get your number? Maybe we can meet up again and maybe catch some Pokemon or something, and I'll show you a place where like some secret Pokemon are." And she's off-put by this. And the article starts off with this great intention of saying...
It sounds super scumbaggy.
Right, super scumbaggy, right? Just a terrible thing, which starts off with the right intention of, hey, listen, just because I'm playing a game and you're playing the game doesn't mean you can hit on me. And she even asked her boyfriend, hey, will you play Pokemon with me? But then this is where things take a turn. This is when she started to really kind of go off the rails. So she says, quote, "I begged my boyfriend to sign up with me so he could wander around with me, acting as a makeshift weirdo shield. But despite my best efforts, he thought it was odd for an adult to play such a game." And then she ends with this damn article with this paragraph. "What happened to the good old days when gamers stayed firmly indoors with no need to venture out and nerds feared social interactions? is if only there was such a thing as Pokemon Go away.
So, all right. And I've never read anything by Robin Vinter, and I'm reading this. I mean, it just looks like somebody who's, voicing an opinion, venting a little bit. This is a super creeper thing to do, and right. Obviously, there's going to be an outlet for any number of scumbags to, when people are socializing, they can just hop on Pokemon Go, not know anything about it, and, try to scam on whatever. But, this seems like shock value. Like, obviously, this person isn't she's probably not a gamer, probably has no real, she's just playing it because everybody's playing it, and that's fine. But you know what? I mean,
and that's fine.
I'm not sure nerds ever feared social interaction, and I
do.
Yeah, this has made Brian a much more social piece.
You feared social interaction, Brian.
Yeah, actually.
I'm using the word fear, like really feared it.
Yeah. Really? Do you really want to know?
Like when you were 14, or because since I've known you, you've been pretty loquacious.
Yeah, I mean, with you, it's a little different. I mean, I still.
Oh yeah, I'm super disarming. Like there's nothing about me that would make people go, "Fuck, I don't want to talk to that guy."
Well, I mean, really think about it. I mean, I didn't approach any of you guys to be my friend. You all just came to me because that's how wonderful I am.
Yeah, you're a really cool dude.
I know. I'm pretty great. But no, I mean, I've always had an issue with social interaction. But I mean, and Josh, it's the same exact thing you were telling me with the whole Star Wars Fox News stupid blonde bimbo that I was trying to tell CJ when he was telling me about this article. It's just she doesn't know anything. No one's taking her seriously. It's all shock value, shock
value, and not particularly well written either.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the article is pretty.
So I was not extremely offended by. I was not as offended by this as CJ.
So can we just quickly before I do want to. Brian Roman, after you posted this, commented pretty quickly, and if you don't mind, I'll read. I know it's on Facebook and anybody can read it, but I would like to put it on the show as well.
No, perfect. I was actually going to leave with that. Go ahead.
So Brian Roman comments, then Pokemon take your ass back inside and pick up your 3DS. Like, I get it. No one wants creepy people asking for your number and hassling you. This isn't a Pokemon Go problem. That guy was going to be a creep no matter what. Pokemon Go just happened to be his in this time. Once you're done playing because you're tired of server issues and the game freezing when you try to catch a Pokemon you don't have, he'll go back to trying to get your number because you decided to wear a red shirt that day. And that is positively the truth. 100%. And this dude who's going to show you the place where they keep the super secret Pokemon is also the place where he keeps his super secret GHB. So, like, it's not like this is just... he's a creeper, right? Just a scumbag. So there's going to be scumbags, and fortunately for I think the masses, Pokemon Go brings people together in a social setting that is open and inviting and fun.
I mean, yeah,
right.
But there's always going to be the guy with the panel van that pulls up to the playground, right?
Right.
That's this guy. And
I asked a couple other female fans too, hey, listen, have you encountered this? Do you think that this lady's right on? Do you think she's right off? Just to get the female perspective, because we're three dudes who, are playing this, and we're pretty sociable people anyway, maybe with the exception of Brian, that we were going to talk to people regardless, right? And then just like you said, Josh, this is cool because sometimes there are some other people that you would have never talked to get in there. So, I mean, I asked my friend Kellen, and I said, hey, you're doing this. And she says that basically she does this to focus, to walk around the neighborhood, and to exercise and just kind of enjoy the game, bringing people together. And she kind of agrees that with the woman that, hey, listen, if someone's being scuzzy, you're going to walk away. But that's just something in life that you encounter. It's not, specific to Pokemon Go. And if anyone says, hey, I know a special place where you can find rare Pokemon, it's just a red flag. But overall, the game has not caused her any problems. She hasn't had any awkward interactions. She's met some new people and, got a little more active because of it. So she enjoyed the game.
And I think, small sample size, obviously, but I'm pretty sure that if we were in a major metro and there was the Pokemon happening, there would be a much larger number of scumbags, trying to peddle their wares. Brian, you, Melissa, JP, a bunch of you were at a place last night, right?
2 nights ago. We all went to the park in Allentown off of 15th Street there, and it was like 9 o'clock at night, but screw it, we need Pokemon. And it was really cool, actually, because everybody who was there, they were all doing the same thing. You had one kid who had one of those like backpacks with the speakers on it, like blasting music. So like you had a theme song while you were catching Pokemon, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, no one was really like creeping or anything like that.
How many people do you think were there?
I want to say, I mean, just in looking around, I mean, there were a good 30 to 40 people there at that time. And we're talking about like, I was there until past midnight.
It's pretty hot on a Wednesday night.
And it was really cool. And it was, I mean, it forced me to be sociable because, people are coming up, be like, oh, hey, did you see that there was a war turtle back in that back corner there? I was like, oh man, no, where? And like, so they, show me where it is and stuff like that. And met a couple people who were really cool. One guy, same type of situation. Josh was like by himself. He was like, hey, do you mind if I like just walk around with you guys while we hit up some Pokemon? We're like, yeah, sure. So it was a lot of fun, really cool. And I thought it was great. So I don't ever have issues. I mean, I'm not very
well, no, and I'll say this. Listen, I think this is something that we when we started this podcast, right? We said this is something that this is the thing we've been waiting for. We said that a nerd is a person with a desire to consume all knowledge about a topic and then share that information with the world, and that's what we have right now. People who are learning a lot about Pokemon Go, people are learning about the gym system, people who are doing everything and want to share that knowledge with other people. This is what we've been asking for, and I'm so excited to see the nerd culture accepted, and the fact that even with an article like this, that everyone just came out and said, lady, shut up. Like, what, are you mad? Like, just calm yourself and enjoy the fact that everyone's outdoors, people are getting exercise, and that you're getting to meet new and individual people. And if you don't want to be around nerds, I don't know if you noticed, but it's 2016. They're running the world. Just get over it. So we reached out to another fan, and we asked for some feedback on this article. Again, the female perspective. And this is the response that we got back. And forewarning, Papa Thornton, the words that are coming out of my mouth are not necessarily that of mine. This fan says, lady, get off your high horse. If you don't want to have a common interest with nerds, don't play Pokemon. Duh. I begged my boyfriend to sign up with me so he can wander around acting as a makeshift weirdo shield. Like, really? Get off your fucking horse, all right? Get off your high horse, you asshole. Sorry, Papa Thornton. Are you just a person who's been bullying nerds since your boobs came in? Or are you a bad writer that needs page views to keep your job and thought antagonizing this group would do it? The fact is that so many people are going out, enjoying the nice weather, and walking around, all prompted because of one app. That's absolutely fucking fabulous. I bet even Michelle Obama is jumping for joy. And the socialization aspect should be obvious as a common interest. This chick is dumb. That's my 2 cents from her.
Socialism, that MK Ultra is really coming through.
It's really kicking through. You got dyslexia and you're reading things that you haven't read a whole bunch of times. But listen, it's a valid thing. Like, if you don't want to touch the nerds, like, don't do nerdy things. But also look around you and realize that nerdy things are everywhere. So we think this is an isolated incident, and we don't think the general population feels this way. Is that the consensus I'm getting from you guys?
I mean, I don't think the general population wishes that everyone would go back indoors. I think that there are quite a few people who are annoyed by it, and a lot of those people are, the same ones that are annoyed by everything.
Right.
And then, I think that there's a legitimate beef, where the mapping is spot on. So there's probably some places that should be excluded from.
Do we want to talk about that?
No, I mean, I'm not going to get into all the places that are inappropriate and that Pokemon are being caught, but like the general public has no common sense and for the most part a pretty shifty sense of decorum. So they just do whatever, right? And you can't just catch Pokemon in the middle of certain things or places or where you should be probably respectful or somber or reflective or otherwise. So I think that's a problem, and I think that that's something that needs to be corrected. And then obviously, you have to like work, so you probably shouldn't be playing.
Speak for
Pokemon.
yourself. Did you hear about that guy who quit his job just to play Pokemon Go?
Well, I think that's great, but you gotta make bank. You gotta make bank, bro. You gotta get ass and drive a Range Rover.
This reminds me a little bit of when WoW first came out, and I had a college roommate who literally spent 2 weeks in his room, and I thought he went home and he was playing WoW the entire time. I never heard him come out to use the bathroom, the shower, nothing. That's what this reminds me of. But now the guy, if he does this for 2 weeks, he has to walk. He has to go out and do something.
I mean, seriously.
No, he doesn't have to. He can find a Pokestop, drop a lure, and just sit there.
So you brought up mapping, Josh, and there's two things to this that I want to bring up. And this shows the power of this, because Brian actually showed me a link that, especially now when you come to daily active users, Pokemon Go is officially the most successful app in US history. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get worldwide very soon. It just got released in the EU.
More users than Twitter? Is that right?
More daily active users than Twitter. Yes.
And Candy Crush and everything.
So part of this success has also yielded one other result, that Yelp will now let you filter search results with nearby Pokestops.
So
pretty cool.
When I'm looking for restaurant reviews, I can see if there's a Pokestop nearby.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, that's great.
So you're like, okay, well, I have to wait. Like, there's a wait for this place. Is there a Pokestop nearby at least? So, I mean, Yelp has now adopted Pokemon Go to help drive users. And then the other part, too, is that on Pokemon Go's official website, there is a forum. And on the forum, they've kind of opened up, although they say it's closed, the ability to, A, request removal of a gym or Pokestop from a location. So if you feel that someplace is inappropriate or is dangerous or whatever, you can ask for it to be removed. But you can now also ask to be added. So I have a friend who runs a comic book shop down in Georgia. He's looking to get his store added as a Pokestop or a gym.
I want my apartment to be a Pokestop.
As a retailer, this isn't an opportunity for cross promotion. People aren't looking to spend money in your establishment. Like, it's not. I would make my house a Pokestop and just sit here and play, but
I'm not gonna lie though. There's a Pokestop by the Hobby Lobby by my house, and I bought. After I hit it, I knew that it would take some time to refresh. I went into Hobby Lobby and bought my daughter a little like wooden train set, and then came back out and the Pokestop was ready to go, and I used the Pokestop again. I would not go into Hobby Lobby and buy this little train set, honestly, if it wasn't for the Pokestop.
Oh, fair enough. I haven't run into that issue, and I've seen quite a few signs on doors and windows saying, no Pokemon without purchase type deal.
Well, I also saw, it floated around the internet, so I take that for what it is. There was a pizza shop that says, show us your level, and depending on your level, you actually got, free pizza. Like, if you're level 3,
that's kind of cool. Like, and that's cool. And that's a nice thing.
So there's opportunities for these businesses to do that.
Free pizza isn't making any money, but
no. Well, you now become loyal to that pizza shop, and then you come back.
Maybe you buy a bottle of water.
Right, exactly.
Yes, I get it. That's cool.
It's a loss leader.
That, like, it is quite a loss leader. I think the bigger concern right now would be just stabilizing the application. It is still incredibly buggy, just very buggy.
See, I haven't had as many issues as you are having.
And at the time of this recording, they've updated the app from my understanding. Someone's going to correct me, twice. We've had 2 updates.
I've been trying to open the app since we started recording 29 minutes ago. I still can't get it. The app won't open.
Oh, no, I'm in.
I'm in. My wife is also Pokemon going as we speak.
But I mean, seriously, my skin is no longer alabaster, and I don't know how to feel sad or happy about that. I'm walking. It's very unnerving. I'm not used to this. I kind of love it, but I don't know. But
I do like the fact that the community around Pokemon Go can also now dictate, hey, listen, I'm in a place, there are no Pokestops nearby. This is a safe place for people to go, right? Can we please put one there? Or, hey, this place that you currently have it is unsafe or inappropriate. Can we remove it and replace it with a different one? I think maybe that aspect is nice enough to talk about it. So if you know a place that you should remove or you want to add for safety or just, for just good reasons.
Or, if you're at a place where, like, let's say a memorial of some type, you probably, if your phone is out because you're taking pictures, then just, be discreet. But for the love of God, churches and things like that, your phone shouldn't be out. Use some common sense.
Well, you're asking people to use common sense, and that's a problem.
I
hear you.
Act as if. How about that? Not
I
common sense. Just act as if. Act as if you've been there before, or act as if your grandmother is watching. If we all just acted as if we were being watched by our grandmothers at all times, a whole lot less bad stuff would go down.
Right. There's a toilet on the roof.
Yes, there's a toilet on the roof. It's the God is watching. There's a toilet on the roof.
Let's not tell anyone else that there's a toilet on the roof. There is not a toilet on the roof.
But you just said there was.
No, yes, I did, but I was using a metaphor. That means God is watching us. You've heard this. There's a toilet on the roof. Right, people?
That's right. Ain't nothing up there.
So here's another really cool piece of news, and this is a double-edged sword in my opinion, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But starting July 19th, which is Tuesday, the day after this recording drops, T-Mobile is making Pokemon Go not count against your data at all. It is now going to be exempt from your data caps.
I haven't really noticed it using a ton of data, though.
It's not, but however, some people do have low data plans. And T-Mobile is giving them.
Those people should just.
It's not using any data. T-Mobile just needs to insert themselves into the news cycle.
Well, it's very true. Yes, absolutely.
Did they have Steve Harvey break this news?
Dude, T-Mobile's CEO is a complete attention whore.
I love him,
cannot stand when he hasn't been talked about for a 24-hour period.
So moving on from Pokemon Go, back to a little Nintendo news. Now, we've talked about products like this all the time. Retro products, how to play retro gaming in the modern world. Nintendo themselves has finally answered part of the call. So Nintendo is releasing a miniature NES with 30 built-in games in November for $59.99. And it looks just like the original NES. Very little tiny, though. Fits in the palm of your hand. Maybe not fits in your palm. Rests on your hand. You can hold it with one hand.
It fits in your hand, which is kind of cool. And it's obviously it's HDMI support, and it's all, it looks like a Nintendo, but no cartridges, obviously.
Right. And the games are built into it.
Brian, do you object to any of these games? Or do you think they're missing anything? There's 30 games.
No, I don't. When I first read the article, I was like, oh, well, they're not going to have any of the good stuff on there. But they got
some great stuff.
They have both Zeldas. They have all 3 Marios. They have Punch-Out. So, I mean, this is solid if you don't already have a working NES and have those cartridges like I do.
Bubble Bobble's a pretty solid old game, right?
Yeah.
The first 2 Castlevanias, 2 Donkey Kongs, Dr. Mario, Excite Bike, which was one of the first games I ever had. Kid Icarus, who doesn't love that game? Mega Man 2, damn it. Here we go again. Ninja Gaiden, which who doesn't love that? Super C.
I've never heard of that game.
And then obviously Tecmo Bowl. In addition to the 2 Zelda games, I think this is just about the perfect little collection. I mean, sure, there's stuff that's not in there, like Bases Loaded and Ice Hockey, but that's okay.
Oh, Bases Loaded.
Bases Loaded. How great was Bases Loaded?
Like one of the few sports games I truly love.
Bases Loaded was absolutely amazing, but I think they've got a little something for everyone in here, which very thoughtful. The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, you could spend days on just those games.
And it uses the Wii U controllers and the Wii U remote to play it. There is also a controller designed to look like the NES gamepad. So if you want that old school feel to it, you can buy that as a separate accessory. But it's 30 built-in games. It's $60. Half of your money just goes to the games. The other half goes to the hardware. The date that they have for it is November 11th. It looks awesome. I think this is finally one of those things we've talked about. Again, 5 of these things already. This is one licensed by Nintendo. I am going to actually put $60.
It's a real boy. It's a real.
This is actually real. This will actually be made for consumers. You can actually hold it. Yeah.
I'm buying at least one of these. I may buy several as stocking stuffers at this point. So, look. I mean, when you think about it, $60. For people that you like, that's not that really that big a deal. And
right.
It's a cool little gift that you can give to everybody in your life who, same age. We're talking about on this podcast, we're what, 26 to 36? Is that right?
I'm 28.
All right, 28, 36. Older than I thought. Either way,
he looks like he's 11.
You look like you're 12. Yeah. So there's that.
I have a podcast. It's really good. You should check it out, guys.
But I think about all the people I grew up with. We all had the 8-bit NES, and we all miss it. And we've talked about this a bunch of times. Anytime this stuff comes up, I just shut up and take my money.
Yeah, but the fact it's made by Nintendo now, you're right. This is real boy.
It's a real boy.
This is something you will have.
And Ghosts and Goblins, I miss that. That man is playing Galaga. Thought we didn't see him. We did. All right, so I found earlier this week a trailer for a movie releasing this summer. This trailer I found for a movie called The Hollars, which releases August 26th. Surprising trailer because I'd never heard anything about this movie previously. Directed and starring John Krasinski, also Anna Kendrick, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Charlotte Copley, Charlie Day, Richard Jenkins, Margot Martindale, who from the trailer looks like she has an amazing performance. And you've seen her from the Justified show as well as other things, but she's always on point, whether she's, serious or, comedy. She's
got range.
She has an amazing range. And so I watched this trailer probably 4 times now. It's funny. It seems like it'll be a little sad, but it seems like it's going to be a great sleeper movie. And Brian, did you say it's a limited release?
Yeah, it's a limited release.
When we talked about it, which is sad because it's not going to be everywhere. It's probably not going to be on Fantasy Movie League, which is sad. But everyone should know about this trailer. You should go take a look, watch the trailer. I think you will be very pleased.
Yeah, it's coming out August 26th, so it's right around the corner. So we're going to talk about it when we talk about August movies. This looks so funny. Everything about it looks great. And this is, correct me if I'm wrong, John Krasinski's second movie directing? His second directorial?
I don't know if you're wrong or
I
not.
will tell you right now.
Think I'm right?
Has directed. Is that a movie? Brief Interviews with Hideous Men. Is that a movie?
No,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah, it's a feature-length film. So this is his second movie. He directed 3 episodes of The Office.
Okay, but second movie looks really great. Anna Kendrick also with this cast. I mean, I thought he did another. Oh, he's done several things with her.
I think they're friends as well.
They look. Everything about this movie looks exactly right. Josh, I totally agree with you. This needs to be everywhere.
Right.
So please go to thatkindofnerd.com. Check out the trailer. You will absolutely love it. And then when it comes out in limited theaters, go see it and go support this because I think this movie looks fantastic. It is also that time of the year where we need to talk about the 2016 Emmy Awards. Now, before we get too far into list of nominees and non-nominees, I would like to yield the floor to Brian Thornton, who has a major gripe with the list and absences of some certain things on this.
Oh, yeah, I did have a gripe.
Yes, you did.
The fact that both Jessica Jones and Daredevil are not nominated for something more substantial than outstanding title sequence pisses me off. That is the only thing I have right now. Yeah, Jessica Jones is nominated for title music and title sequence. Daredevil is nominated.
The title music and title sequence for Jessica Jones are pretty awesome.
Yeah, they deserve to be nominated for that, but they also deserve like best new show.
Best new show.
No.
Yes.
No.
What else? What else would you say was best new show this year?
What's nominated?
I couldn't find that list. I found half a list.
It's loading right now. It's taking forever.
Besides maybe Mr. Robot, I don't remember what else was nominated.
Certainly, Mr. Robot is better than Jessica Jones.
I'm not saying it should win. I'm saying it should be nominated.
Yeah, it should definitely be recognized as best new show.
And
All the
Daredevil
reporters
got
would say.
like stunt coordination and something else.
Which it deserves.
Yeah, it absolutely deserves. But there's not you got to realize, man, Daredevil is not a show for the masses. It's really not a show for anybody outside us. It's not a great show either. It's incredibly good for us, but for the most part, the acting isn't all that good, and it's just an amazingly well choreographed and written, and the storyline's phenomenal. But
Well, look at something like
nothing-
David Tennant in Jessica Jones. That is acting, and that is
okay. His character, she is terrible.
yeah, she's terrible, but
She is awful.
yes, but
And
we can all
everyone
agree
else on that show is dog shit,
Right,
except for
so-
David Tennant.
Nominate David Tennant.
It's not a good show, is my point.
Okay,
It's good for us because we like comic books, but it's a pretty shitty show overall. It's the same as Flash or Arrow. It's shitty. Just shitty.
You're just shitting on everything that I love right now.
Look, I'm sorry, man. It's not. Well, all right. Let's put it this way: a great show, I don't know, Game of Thrones, really anything HBO does. You can't put that up against Game of Thrones. You can say it's got great draw. You can say it's got great story, but when it comes to the cast of characters and the acting, it's not there. The only show Netflix has that is there is House of Cards.
which shouldn't be on there. This season was terrible.
Yeah, and we've all discussed that this season was terrible, but I mean, as far as acting chops and a cast of characters and that show's got star power.
So I want to pause for a moment. I really kind of want to just talk a little bit and let's catch up with the Emmys. So the Emmys right now are really just kind of to basically say, listen, these are the shows that are worth watching, maybe that you should watch. And, these are shows you can definitely know are coming back for other seasons. Well, maybe not always, but it's a good indication. So Game of Thrones, The People vs. O.J. Simpson, Mr. Robot, and The Americans are the top 4 shows for this year. And I can tell you, definitely watched Game of Thrones, watched Mr. Robot, but I did not get to watch The People vs. O.J. Simpsons, and I don't watch The Americans, even though I told him I should.
I gotta watch The Americans.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good. For the
I thought
best
that was
drama,
loosely based on your life, wasn't it? Russian spies pretending to be American.
yes, it was.
Okay, I'm just reiterating in case people don't know what the show's about.
Uh-huh.
It's about MK Ultra.
It's about MK Ultra.
Okay, just saying.
When is the Emmys on?
I knew you were going to ask that question, and I don't know.
Sunday, September 18th.
So Sunday, September 18th is going to be the 2016 Emmys.
I'm still trying to find the nominees for best whatevers.
Then I would like to take a moment to throw under the bus HollywoodReporter.com. Fix your fucking website. It's terrible. Sorry, Papa Thornton. Sorry, but this website is atrocious.
I went to Emmys.com and
It's not as good. It's not good either.
That's not good either.
It's better, but not much.
You get like a PDF and it's weird. It's not. I just want a list. Just give me a list.
Yeah, I would like
yeah,
to
a list.
apologize to our fans for this. The reason that we're fumbling around this is the websites that we are leaning on for, hey, what are some of these things, are just atrocious. So our apologies. We're going to get our act together in just a second, and we're going to have a conversation about some of this stuff.
There's so many awards.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. The Emmys are ridiculous. Best freaking hairstyle on Thursday of last week is not
So we're talking about outstanding drama series, right? Is that what you wanted?
Well, I mean, there's outstanding dramas, but there is a best or outstanding new show category that I could not
Where?
find. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm saying I don't see it.
I don't see it either, Brian.
I'm not sure it's a thing, Brian.
I don't think it is either.
It was a thing. I swear.
I'm on two websites.
I know. I can't find it either.
Listen, there's a lot of repeat things on here too. Better Call Saul got picked up for a few things. Veep is on for a couple as well. Let me ask you a question. Of those four, of the best drama series, which are really kind of what we gravitate to, they're shows that we watch. We've got The Americans, Game of Thrones, House of Cards, Downton Abbey, Better Call Saul, Mr. Robot, and Homeland. How do you feel about those nominees, Brian, versus the comic book stuff that didn't come on there? Do you feel those are at least good shows?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't watch Downton
those,
Abbey, but other than that,
Right.
yeah.
No, but everyone does. Everyone that
Yes.
isn't us watches.
Sure. I mean, great.
And then what I'm looking at too, and this is something cool. This is the trend that we have been talking about, and now it's starting to come. Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, they're on here. They have shows nominated for Emmys, and just showing that you don't have to be a major television network in order to get fans, to get notoriety, and to get critics. So again, we're seeing a shift in the way that we're viewing content. I listen, there's a lot going on in the Emmys. There's a lot of things that we wish were on there, but overall, this looks like a pretty good list and a good representation of what's actually good on television right now. Can we agree on that part? Do we think that's a solid thing that we can say?
Yeah, for sure. And there obviously, like you said, there's stuff represented from all aspects of, streaming and cable and network. It's all there. So I don't see what, why anybody would have an issue with it. I'm not crazy that Paula Malcolmson wasn't nominated for leading actress, but whatever.
So let me ask you the question that I know a couple other people are going to ask. Now that you see that some shows are up for Emmys, is there anything on there that you are going to watch that you haven't watched before?
I need to watch The Americans at some point.
That's what I took away too, that I should watch The Americans. Brian, what about you? Is there a show on that list that you need to watch?
I don't feel any burning desire to watch anything that I don't already watch.
I feel a burning desire to finish anything, and that's where the sentence should.
That's not. I don't feel a burning desire to finish any.
Well, listen, there's obviously when this gets closer and we see who the winners are, I know there's going to be a few things that upset us and a few things that excite us. So we're going to come back to this topic. Listen, we griped about the website, so again, I apologize for the craziness of this, but we would like to hear from you guys. As you have time to research, is there something that you are excited that got nominated, or an actor that you feel finally got recognition, or the flip side of that, do you think there's something that should have been recognized or someone that deserves praise? We would like to hear, too, who do you think got left off the list? So that way we can kind of get your voice on there. And you can do that a couple ways. Get us on Twitter. But of course, you can listen to the end of the show, and we've got other ways that you can get to us. So pay attention for that. But I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about it. I think there's a lot of things that are up for discussion. So that kind of nerd fans, we have an exciting announcement to make. We were doing the Game of Thrones section of the podcast, and we actually got a lot of people who liked that. But we got some feedback saying, hey, listen, there are some people who just want to hear about that, and they weren't necessarily all about the nerdy stuff per se. And they were asking for a separate feed. So here's what we decided to do. We decided to make a secondary podcast for you, that kind of nerd family. And we're going to call it, Hey, Did You See? And what we're going to do is we're going to pick a show, and we're going to run through either an entire run of it or an entire season. So, for example, we're going to start with BBC's Sherlock. The beauty of this show is that it's only 3 episodes per season. They're an hour and a half, so we can easily get through this and have some great discussions with it. So, I'm going to ask for your help. We are getting ready to make the intro for it, and we're looking to get some word out about it. And I need you, the fans, to give me a hand. I would like to get a bunch of people recording saying, hey, did you see? And then the name of their favorite show. So I want you to imagine that you are so excited about a show that the first thing that pops into your head and out of your mouth when you see your best friend is, hey, did you see Game of Thrones? That level of excitement and that joy that the only thing you can talk about is your television show. I want you to send me a clip using the voice memo app on your phone about, hey, did you see the name of your favorite show? You can email it to cj@heydidyousepodcast.com. If you're unfamiliar with iTunes right now, you can just tap the show notes, tap our picture, and the link will be in there, so you don't even have to memorize it. You can just click that. But send us a recording of you saying your favorite name of your show after, hey, did you see? It will mean the world to us, and I am excited to also announce that Craig Newcomb from Game of Thrones will be joining us for this podcast. So there's more details to come. The website's coming soon, but I'm excited to announce it to you guys.
So we're looking to start this podcast dropping on Wednesdays. First date being August 3rd, which means that if you're listening now and you're thinking, well, if they're going to do Sherlock, I want to watch it so that I can know what they're talking about on August 3rd. You have until then. Sherlock is on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken.
It is on Netflix, yes.
The entire series is on Netflix, so you can start with the first episode, which I can't remember the title. A Study in Pink was the first one?
Yes, A Study in Pink. That's correct.
I'm on the money. So I have watched this series 3 times now. This will be my 4th. I love it. I love it dearly. Bendy Back Crumpty Bump is one of my favorite British actors and names to say out loud. And look, give it a watch, and then follow along on the podcast and send us your opinions after the fact.
Absolutely. And we're going to do this, episode by episode, week by week. So if you want to watch with us, you don't have to watch ahead. You can just watch the first episode. We'll drop our podcast. You watch the second episode, we drop our podcast. And this way you can kind of watch it with us. Listen, lots of more details to come. There's some really cool things that are going to come down the pipe for it. Again, it's called Hey, Did You See? And we're excited to bring it to you. All right, so that is our episode this week. I want to thank you guys so much for making us your walk around the neighborhood while you play Pokemon Go and your drive to work where you are not playing Pokemon Go. There's a couple things that we definitely want to hear from you guys about, and that's, how are you feeling about Pokemon Go so far? What are your impressions of the Emmys list? And just what's going on in your nerdy world? Tell us some stories from your nerdy life. You can do that by getting us at Twitter at ThatKindOfNerd, on Facebook, facebook.com/ThatKindOfNerd. And of course, guys, the coolest thing you can do is have your voice on the podcast. Call 484-373-4119 and leave yourself a voice memo. Listen, I would advise you 3 minutes and then the voicemail cuts you off. So this way you can go ahead and have your voice on the show. So thank you so much for listening, and we can't wait to see you next week, and we can't wait to tell you more about Hey, Did You See? Thanks for listening.
Do you know where the bridge is? Great!